can't see it up there. What?
I said, you're the most loved woman in the room right now.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone to the October meeting of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. I'm Sally Hart-Peterson, I'm the chair of the commission, and we will start our meeting with roll call, starting on my far left with Larry.
Larry Keeler, Commissioner.
Kathleen Mozak-Betts, Commissioner, and we don't have monitors.
Your monitors aren't turned on.
I wouldn't have noticed.
You might want to switch seats.
Okay.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner.
Nicholas Koselniak, Commissioner.
Rachel Hawkins, Commissioner.
Thank you, everyone. Next, we will have approval, you got it, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve.
Larry moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Nick seconds. All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No one? The agenda is approved. Next, we have approval of the September 26th meeting minutes. We know that there are a couple of errors in them already. I think it would be good to still point them out. But let's have a motion to discuss, a motion for approval of the September 26th meeting minutes.
I'll move again to approve.
Larry moves to approve, Kathleen seconds. So let's talk about the September 26th meeting minutes. Heather has told us that there's a problem with Legistar, that it won't correctly enter data, or let her enter data for who is here and who is not here. So looking back at the September 26th meeting minutes, Larry, you were here. Allison Stroud was not here that day because I recall that Kathleen, you gave the update on her behalf. Nick, you were not here that day?
I was absent.
You were absent that day. Zach was here, Kirk was not here, Tim was here, Kathleen was here, Matthew was here, Rachel was here, Deborah was here. Kristen Harrison was out, and Kristen Harrison is on a work trip right now too, but she says she will be with us in November. A previous edition of this had, I think, no, that was June, never mind. So those are the first couple of corrections. Does anyone else have any other corrections on the minutes?
I think the only one that I noticed was for the approval of agenda section. I was listed as R. Watkins instead of Hawkins. So under approval of agenda.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Thank you. Thanks. R. Hawkins instead of Watkins. Similarly, under the chair report, there's a new host for Ann Arbor Inclusive. His name is Tom Hoatlin, not Tom Hilton. So it's Hoatlin, Hoatlin. And it said, oh yeah, S. Peterson's last meeting as chair will be December 19th. As her four-year term will have been completed. So we need to add the word been. B-E-E-N. Welcome, Tim.
Hi,
Tim
sorry.
Hall has joined us.
Trouble getting here.
That's okay. Any other questions, corrections, additions? All those in favor as amended, say aye.
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 All those opposed? No one opposed, so the minutes are accepted, approved as amended. Next, we have presentations, and we have Katie Monkowitz from the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Last time I was here, I did hand out the October events brochure, but is there anybody here who didn't get it then or would like another copy? Y'all?
Thanks.
Everybody else good? Okay. So I have a couple of events that are coming up this month that I want to mention. The first one is a film screening that we'll be doing. The film is called High School 911. It's going to be held on Wednesday, October 24th at 6:30 at the Downtown Library in the multipurpose room. This is appropriate for grades 7 to adult. High School 911 chronicles a year in the life of the only ambulance service in Darien, Connecticut that just happens to be run by high school teenagers.
Whoops.
The goal of the film is to inspire and empower teenagers as well as to motivate the adults in their lives, parents, educators, school administrators, community leaders, to create opportunities for them to become independent, learn by doing, and make a difference in their communities. And this film will be followed by a panel discussion. So I think that sounds really interesting, and I am planning on being there. Something fun that we have coming up for Halloween is our 2018 Halloween costume contest. That's going to be on Sunday, October 28th from 2:30 to 3 p.m. at the Downtown Library in our lobby. This is for all ages. And to enter, you must be seen by the judges between 12:30 and 2 p.m. And we will have an awards ceremony at 2:30 p.m. There will be a free photo booth in the lobby for all to enter and commemorate the day. And there will be snacks and crafts and gift cards and medals awarded in many different categories. So that should be really fun. Always, Halloween is a very lively event at the library. We have a lot of fun. And then finally, we are going to be holding a program called Updates to the ADA, Emotional Support Animals, Assistive Animals, and More. This will be held on Monday, October 29th at 7 p.m. at the Downtown Library in the 4th floor meeting room. We are going to learn what's new in the Americans with Disabilities Act from U of M experts Jack Bernard and Christina Klein at this Investing in Ability event. So this is part of the U of M Council for Disability Concerns annual series of events known as Investing in Ability, a program designed to raise awareness of disability topics on campus and in the community. I'm really looking forward to that one too. I want to talk to you about a couple of
Could you repeat the time and date of that?
Yes, absolutely. So that is Updates to the ADA, Emotional Support Animals, Assistive Animals, and More. Monday, October 29th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Downtown Library in the 4th floor meeting room. All right, a couple of books I picked out this month. The first one is our Washtenaw Reads selection. So they've made a selection. This year it is Reading with Patrick by Michelle Quo. So it's not the finalist that I presented to you last month, so I'm glad I held off on this one. This book is available in print and on book on CD right now. The National Library Service is working on getting the recording available for bar download and on digital cassette through the Library for the Blind. I can see it in process. So I know it's happening, it's just not quite ready yet. So if you want it in one of those formats, just check back with us in a little bit and keep checking and we can get that out for people who are interested. So Reading with Patrick by Michelle Quo is an unforgettable memoir where Michelle shares the story of her complicated but rewarding mentorship of one student, Patrick Browning, and his remarkable literary and political awakening. 15 and in the 8th grade, Patrick begins to thrive under Michelle's exacting attention. However, after 2 years of teaching, Michelle leaves Arkansas to attend law school. When, on graduating, she learns that Patrick has been jailed for murder, Michelle returns to Helena and resumes Patrick's education as he sits in jail awaiting trial. So I haven't read that one yet. Sounds interesting. That's what the committee picked, so it should be good. And then I thought that this book I found on our new shelf, or express shelf, is timely. It's called What Unites Us by Dan Rather. And this is a collection of essays that the venerated television journalist celebrates our shared values, reminds us of what matters most in our great country, and shows us what patriotism looks like. So that is kind of timely, and you know, we could stand to be united at the moment, I think. You know, all the time, but especially now. And then I just want to remind you of our contact information. you can email us at the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled at wlbpd@aadl.org. Reach us by phone at 734-327-4224, or visit our website at wlbpd.aadl.org. Any questions today? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sophie Skocialak from the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thanks.
So as always, we have lots of events happening at the SIL. The first thing I'll talk about is Girl Talk, which is still happening. It's a social group for young women with disabilities, ages 14 to 26, and that's being held on Fridays from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., and that's October 19th, October 26th, and November 2nd. If you would like to join that group, you can contact Anna Deuce-Bieber, who is our Youth Services Manager, at 734-971-0277, extension 17. The next thing I wanted to point out is we're doing a transition workshop. It's called Alternatives to Guardianship. It's Monday, November 12th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The presentation will prepare families to consider alternatives to guardianship. Hear from Melissa Epstein, attorney at law of Epstein Legal, to discuss your options. The discussion topics include defining durable medical power of attorney, understanding trust, and benefits such as Michigan ABLE. If you would like to join, you can RSVP with, again, Anna Deuce-Bieber, and her number is, again, or I'll give you her email this time, shake it up. And that's anna@aacil.org. We're still looking for youth leaders, which is an ongoing volunteer opportunity. So you can always join the Ann Arbor SIL Funtastic Youth Council to make difference in your community. You plan and host social and recreational events for your peers, attend monthly meetings and social events. And if you would like to join, again, you can contact Anna. Well, should we do both this time?
Yeah.
734-971-0277, extension 17, or anna@aacil.org. On October 24th at 6:30 p.m., we will be holding a ballot information forum with voters, not politicians. This will be held at the Ann Arbor CIL, which our address is 3941 Research Park Drive, Ann Arbor, Michigan 48108. And you can RSVP with Alex, and his email is alex@aacil.org. Next is our usual recreation and social opportunities. And that's free open gym hours. Orientation is required. That's Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. To schedule an orientation, go to info@aacil.org or call 734-971-0277, extension 33. The Hearing Loss Association Support Group meets monthly on the second Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. To attend, you need to contact Pam McGinty at pamc86@gmail.com. Our Multiple Sclerosis Support Group meets every Monday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And to join, contact Jody Burton Slowins at 734-663-0785. And our General Support Group meets every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And to join the General Support Group, contact Jason Jones at jjones5perard, P-E-R-A-D, @icloud.com. Diversability Theater, which is a favorite, meets every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can contact Chris Beatty at beattymohn@yahoo.com. And as always, we have Drop-In Art Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and they meet every week, Monday and Friday, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and Thursdays from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And if you have any more questions about when art is meeting or if it's being canceled that week, you can always email art@aacil.org. A new support group that's happening in the community that is being held by a coworker of mine is a women's group. It is on the 3rd floor of Delana Center, which is 312 West Huron Street. This group will take place from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it will be October 25th, November 8th, and December 6th and 20th. This is creating a support group for individuals who identify as women with disabilities who are facing homelessness and looking for support, empowerment, and connection to other groups. If you would like to RSVP, go to the Services Center desk at Delana Center, or you can contact Shannon Clark at 734-971-0277, extension 29, or S. Clark at aacil.org. The next is we are again having still the Thursday evening group for parents of children and children with ASD or autism spectrum disorder. This is on Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's being held for 8 weeks, and the last one will be November 15th, 2018. It will be held at Open Minds Ann Arbor LLC, 2890 Carpenter Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48108. And if you would like more information, you can contact Michelle Avery Ferguson, and her number is 734-506-8318. And if you have any more questions, you can always email info@aacil.org. Call us at 734-971-0277 or visit our website at www.annarborcil.org. Yes?
In the past, you've mentioned technology support or drop-in. Is that still offered, or is it on hiatus right now?
It is still offered, yes. Our work hours are 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And if you drop in, the doors are always open for you to go use a computer. We encourage it. Come see us. Anybody else?
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right.
Good to see you. Next, we have public comments, and I do know we have a few students from the University of Michigan who would like to address the commission on a project that they would like to create for an assignment for a class called Psych 220. Welcome. Please introduce
Thank you.
yourselves.
Thanks for having me. I'm Ethan Kahn, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Michigan.
I'm Jackson Klein. I'm also a sophomore at the University of Michigan.
Sorry, I'm tall.
I think the thing raises.
So we are in a class called Entrepreneurial Creativity, and we were assigned with a project to kind of tackle a social issue that we see on campus. And so me and Jackson and one of our other group member who can't be here today, we discussed, and we see that there's a big problem and a big disconnect between the disabled and the non-disabled, and specifically college students, and specifically in Ann Arbor. And so we thought that we could both tackle this problem with a project and provide something beneficial and create something new that can hopefully be done for years to come, even after we're done with school. So I was thinking of something where students, we can get student volunteers to fundraise throughout the semester for one special day where we fundraise for jerseys, for food, for whatnot, and we basically have an Olympics throughout the day where everyone gets a jersey, there's teams, we have buddy volunteers, students, and so I think not only would this, it could be more than one, it could be once a week if we got enough volunteers, it could be once a month, but I think that this would really bring together the community, and it could develop social skills, it could get people active that may not have the resources to or may not be able to, and I think that it's a great opportunity for everyone. So We really just want to make an event, weekly, monthly, by semester or yearly, where we could just bring together the Ann Arbor community and the disabled community specifically with college students, athletes. I know athletes would love to do this and get involved, so we want to do something and start a future with a good program and benefits for the future.
So would you like to hear feedback from commissioners today?
Yeah, I would love to.
Or leave your information so you can meet with them one-on-one, or? I
Yeah,
mean,
I've
we
got
can
some
briefly-
questions.
We can spend maybe
Yeah,
5
if
minutes
you
with
guys
feedback.
have any
or-
questions,
Yeah.
please.
My question is, I'm having a hard time understanding what it is that you're actually proposing to do. It sounds a little bit like Special Olympics, and that doesn't sit well from where I'm sitting. So
Well-
maybe you could clarify a little bit what you're planning.
Yeah,
It wouldn't necessarily be an Olympics. It would be just some kind. We would pick a sport or a bunch of activities and just kind of. We see there are these types of events available for children and young people who are disabled, but once they're kind of above 18 and in the real world, they're not as connected, and these opportunities aren't always present. So we want to have events available for them.
Yeah, I don't know why you would put it around the framework of something athletic when you're dealing with the disabled community.
It doesn't have to be athletic. We can, like, there's other ideas. It could be anything from like cooking to a karaoke event.
I would really suggest something that is a little more, sort of mutual mentoring rather than, it doesn't sit well with me, as a member of the University of Michigan community and a member of the disabled community. The way that you're framing it, I think, needs to be rethought.
Okay.
Respectfully.
No, yeah, thank you for saying that.
I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunities for more interactions between the disabled community and the larger U of M community. I just don't know if a kind of field day type of situation is what would really benefit those communities.
I would also encourage you to look at the resources that already are available at U of M. There's a U of M Council for Disability Concerns, which I might have emailed you the information on. And Kathleen, you might want to speak more about that. Kathleen is a liaison between the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues and the U of M Council for Disability Concerns. And so what they do is really represent within the U of M community, students, faculty, staff who have disabilities and integration and inclusion. So I applaud you for what you're trying to do, because everything with regard to inclusion and equity is a shared value. But there are resources and organizations at U of M that are also already available. Best Buddies is another one. They've presented to us here before. The U of M chapter of Best Buddies is actually an offshoot of the Special Olympics. It was founded by Anthony Shriver, who is Eunice Kennedy Shriver's son, and basically it takes Special Olympics and makes it more of a permanent friendship between U of M students as well with people who have intellectual or developmental disabilities. And the chapter at U of M has won some national awards recently. So you may want to look up the U of M Best Buddies and see what their needs are. As far as framing what you'd like to do, I would zero in on what the problem is you want to solve. I think you see it here. Our commissioners were very active in the community, very socially engaged, and by virtue of being here, very involved in the community. But we also focus on reducing barriers. So maybe one avenue would be to pick a couple of barriers that exist and see what you can do event-wise that would reduce those barriers, as well as, taking Matthew's example of fostering some mentorship. That would be good too. Anybody else have feedback? Kathleen, I kind of was tossing it to you anyway.
Actually, with the Council for Disability Concerns, Stephanie Rosen is the chairperson. I would urge you to reach out to her. There may be an opportunity. We meet once a month at the university at Rackham, the second Tuesday of the month, and there may be an opportunity for you to engage the council with what it is that you're, trying to accomplish. So her name is Stephanie Rosen.
So yeah, I would love to add on to that, just in the in the spirit of education. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, it's my opinion that the disabled community is an extraordinarily underutilized resource, which could be more utilized in entrepreneurship and education. We have complaints from community members who say they're overlooked for jobs, they're disrespected in a job application process. So, and I would also think of it as an opportunity to learn and listen to the disabled community rather than sort of dropping in, helicopter style, go on a listening tour, attend some meetings, hear what the community is interested in before you launch your venture, and think about what you could learn from us, as well.
Thank you.
So, what's the structure of your guys' class? Do you have to draft some sort of proposal or needs assessment? Is there some sort of deliverable that you guys are required to provide?
Yeah, I mean, most groups are creating a product, and so at the end of the semester they will bring in a finished product, something that is actually tangible, and then there's other groups like us that are doing more of a service, and so we will make a prompt of basically what our goal is to achieve, and basically what the format of what we're going to do is, and then we just have to follow through with it and show him the progress and present it to the class at the end of the semester.
Okay, so one of the things I would definitely kind of piggybacking off of what's already said is really thinking about drafting a needs assessment, of identifying the barriers, understanding what problem you're really interested in addressing. Coming in and saying, oh, we're going to do this thing, and I mean, I think thinking about talking to the specific people that are integral to being able to design something is going to be your best bet moving forward. If you go ahead and you try to design something that doesn't have any community input, or community in terms of the university input, talking to the people that are actually main stakeholders, you're going to have some problems. But so really think about designing something that has a lot of structure to it, and then talking to us, talking to the people at the university, getting some feedback on it before you move forward with saying this is what we're going to do. All right, sound good?
Yeah, thank you.
One other thing I would just bring up, though, all the other stuff is valid as far as like making a plan and reaching out to the community. One thing you might want to look into the central student government, because I know they have like lots of commissions and stuff. And this was back 10 years ago, but I was working on trying to do some disability stuff there, like back, yeah, it was a long time, yeah, 10 years ago, but just thought it might be a thought as far as like if you get groups together and you're looking for funding, or see if they have, and if there's an interest there, and like.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't my idea, this is your idea, but I think it's a good one, which is...
You gave me the idea, it came off a comment you said.
Again, on the theme of entrepreneurship, what about a job fair that was, targeting employers and employers' misconceptions, trying to educate? Yeah.
I mean, as we're talking right now, like, what about something like a job finder, like some platform where businesses or companies can reach out and find people within the disabled community who are qualified, and people aren't looking at them, like you were saying. People are often overlooked, and a lot of people are complaining about that. So, and I don't know about it. Maybe there is one out there right now, a platform specifically for the disabled to find jobs. I don't know. What are your...
Just to build on that, I think maybe a platform coupled with a specific event where you could bring employers,
like
because I think there would be some concern that maybe employers aren't really using the platform, but if by virtue of an investment of time and energy and cost and actually showing up at an event, then the employers are invested. So maybe both might be something that gets to your sort of sense that there needs to be a community piece to it.
Another thought, as we're talking about employers and connecting employers with the disabled, another resource would be the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. I do know that they have held, I believe, job fairs. So they may be a resource or a sounding board. Alex Gossage is the interim. The interim director right now. He may be a good resource, or just call the number and see who may be able to talk with you. That might be another way to get more information and be helpful to you.
Okay, thank you.
I should add one more thing, which is you're both still sophomores, and so you still have a chance to take FTVM 236. You're in the wrong class right now. You should have been taking FTVM 236.
What's it called?
The Art of Film.
Okay.
So
They're BBAs.
You made a mistake, but it's not that you actually correct that error.
I still have time.
We got better projects for you, more interesting, engaging projects for you. So keep it in mind. Tell your friends.
Is that open to BBAs as well?
It's open to everyone in the community. We are about diversity in that room, diversity of the moving image, diversity of viewpoints. We are there to listen and to be heard. So again, join our group, tell your friends.
Check. Okay. All right.
Anything else?
That's it
So,
for now, I think.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hope this was helpful for you.
It was.
Next, old business, city personnel report. Heather's not here, so we don't have a city personnel report. Chair report. I am here. I have a few things. First of all, Kayla Coleman, on behalf of project manager Brian Slizewski, has invited commissioners to an informational meeting regarding the proposed sidewalk extension and crosswalk relocation on Fuller Road near Huron High School. And the meeting, and I emailed this to the commission, but I have some follow-up information. The meeting is scheduled for November 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. in the media room at Huron High School. For those who want to use public transportation, I heard back from Bryant that the Route 3 bus, AAATA bus, there's two options leaving Blake at 4:48 p.m. and 5:18 p.m., which would get to Huron at 5:24 p.m. and 5:54 p.m. respectively, and then returning, excuse me, from Huron to Blake, there's an 8:24 p.m. bus that would get you to Blake at 8:43, and a 7:24 p.m. if you want to leave the meeting a little early, we get you there at 7:43 p.m. So that is, as far as I know, is available for public transportation, and I guess there's also A-Ride and other support as well. So we are all encouraged to attend that meeting.
There's also Route 66 if you're on the eastern side of town.
There's
kinda
also
close
Route
to
66.
Huron Parkway or.
Okay, great. Larry?
Also, if you have any doubts and you want to make your bus schedule up and take a look, just call 996-0400. And that's the AATA route bus number, and you can actually confirm it to make sure you can get there and come back.
Great. Can you say that number again?
996-0400.
And that's the AAATA number to confirm your route.
That's one where you can determine ask questions about your bus route.
Wonderful, thank you. Super helpful. The second thing is just wanted to update everyone on the latest Ann Arbor Inclusive episode. Was with Daniel Patrick of Fisher House, Michigan. Daniel Patrick is a Marine combat veteran who's leading the initiative leading the fundraising initiative to build Fisher House in Ann Arbor. Fisher House is similar to, I guess, Ronald McDonald House, only for veterans' families, veterans who are being treated at the Ann Arbor Veterans Hospital would have a nice place to stay while their loved ones are being taken care of. He is featured in the most recent Ann Arbor Inclusive episode, and I encourage everyone to take a look. Next, Community Engagement Committee, Rachel Hawkins.
So we are just getting up and started again. So at this point, mainly just trying to identify a permanent meeting time. So in terms of what I had been looking at, thinking about when PIA is and when our meeting is, I'm hoping that we can maybe put it on a different week. So I was thinking maybe the fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday.
At 5:15, if that would be agreeable to the other commissioners. So keeping around the same time that I know Allison had been doing for PIA. So
Great. I encourage you to get those scheduled with Heather.
Yes.
Because she'll help you find a room.
yes, I'll
Sidewalk.
coordinate with Heather.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, we have Partners in Access Committee, PIA, with Allison, but Allison is not here. Did she give you an update for today?
We didn't.
No. She didn't.
We didn't meet.
You didn't meet. Okay. We'll hold that off until next month. Next, recruiting, Larry.
I didn't meet either. But, no, I went up, I did go up and we looked at the applications. There is one spot left over, but no other applications after Kristen and Deborah went through last month. Nothing else happened, and I also did hear there's a glitch on people from out of the township, out of the Ann Arbor Township area, out of the city, and if there's any, like if you're sending one from Scioto Township or Pittsfield Township, for instance, it may get trashed as spam. So if I know anyone and there's anyone, I would offer to take their application down or send them down to the mayor's office. And you can also call them at 794-6161.
One thing we had also thought about is asking our Ann Arbor Inclusive host, Tom Hotland, who does not actually live in the city of Ann Arbor either, but we think it would be important for him to attend the meetings or at least be a commissioner if that's possible.
There is a spot open, and he could probably get on there if he wants, but he may have to take his application right down to the, he might have to take it to the mayor's office.
Okay, I can follow. Do you want to follow up with him? Do you know him, Larry?
I don't know him, but you could send me if you want to follow up with him, go ahead. If not, send me.
I'll follow up with him and have him contact you.
My computer I still haven't fixed my program. I don't know. I'm not a geek, but I can receive stuff, but I can't send it still. And the other thing, it's not quite. It's not that. It's going to be our voting activity thing, and I think if anybody has nominations, they should contact Kathleen or I, and we can write those up for next month.
Okay.
I just did that since it was on the.
Thank you. So can you just clarify that nominations for the next chair?
We have. Is it for vice chair too? It is.
Well, it depends on who puts their name forth for chair.
Right.
If Zach is wanted to be considered for chair, and if he's voted in, then we would need a new vice chair too.
Right. Okay. So, well, I will take nominations for chair.
Okay.
And I think we want them in by next month so we can discuss them, so we know we're supposed to do elections next month, right?
Yes, correct.
And so if anybody has a nomination, you can get it to Kathleen or I with our, you can get it to Kathleen or I.
Okay. Transportation Commission, Tim Hull.
Yeah, so looks like they're still talking about that traffic calming because they sent a recommendation to City Council and City Council voted it down and had some concerns with it and sent it back to us. So they're going to talk about it again and some concerns about like the level of public engagement involved there and also the role of City Council. But yeah, it sounds like they have some new wording that they're going to talk about tonight, and there's also the Fuller Sidewalk thing that Sally mentioned, and they're talking about the scooters again.
Oh yeah.
I saw that last month.
Yeah, I think they want to come up with like a recommended like policies as to all these things where they can be used, like how the companies are regulated, if at all, and just.
I heard it's actually even worse in Austin. Like we have a couple hundred of them here in Ann Arbor, but in Austin apparently there's like thousands of scooters everywhere, and it's all unregulated. Go ahead, sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I think that was about all I was gonna say. Just, well, yeah, I know you could probably talk about this, but the AAATA had some service changes that they had like a notice out about. Just might be interested.
I'm not prepared to talk about that. I was going to ask you a question about the traffic calming. Where specifically was that again that they wound up getting the glitch? was the traffic calming the things that are happening on the one-way streets there? Or
I don't think they're talking about any specific project. They're
Okay.
talking about the policy.
the
for traffic.
policy? Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Any other questions for Tim? Okay, Kathleen.
So our last meeting was basically a working meeting. It's been, I believe, I don't want to misspeak, but I think it's been since 2003 when our mission was written and our vision. So we've been hosting some brainstorming sessions, and our last meeting was basically a working session. So what I would like to concentrate on is the fact that it is still investing in ability. Disability is diversity at the University of Michigan this month, and there are still many events, exciting events available. To remind the public, all events are free. Locations are accessible, and everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a staff or a student or anything at the university. If you need a specific accommodation to attend or participate, contact the disability at umich.edu at least 48 hours in advance with your specific request. And Investing in Ability is sponsored by the University of Michigan Council for Disability Concerns, the University Human Resource Department, Michigan Medicine, and the University Health Services. And any event that I'm speaking about, if I go too fast or if it doesn't make it across the monitor, you can learn about it at ability.umich.edu/IAU. So it was mentioned earlier about the ADA information. They had already held one at the Hatcher Library on October 15th, and I had the pleasure to attend. And I have to say that the panel was very informative, and it was also open. So it's an interactive thing. The panel will have a discussion, but they're also taking questions from the audience, so you will be able to get any concerns or questions that you have answered at that time. So if you can go on October 29th on a Monday at the AAAGL, it's specifically about assistive animals, really service animals under the ADA, and emotional support animals. Tomorrow, October 18th, is Telling Our Own Stories, which is a visual storytelling workshop on disability life at the University of Michigan. It's from 12 to 3 at the Hatcher Graduate Library. I should let you know that I don't know if you've been to the library lately, but the handicap entrance ramps have now been told that they're not accessible. The ones on the older part of the building, they've been labeled as not accessible because the ramp grades were inappropriate. So if you use a chair or a mobility device, there is an entrance on the other side that is completely accessible, and there are many people there to help you navigate the new way into the building.
This is Hatcher Library?
This is the Hatcher Graduate Library. Yes, thank you. Also, there is on Monday, October 22nd, Active Minds panel discussion from 12 until 1:30 at the Hatcher Graduate Library. And then Anna would want me to let everybody know that the Neubacher ceremony is being held at on the 24th of October, which is a Wednesday, from 9:30 until 11:30 a.m. at Rackham Assembly Hall. And lastly, October 30th, the final event is on Tuesday, Language and Disability and Exploration from 1 until 2:30 p.m., again at the Hatcher Graduate Library. That's all I have.
Great.
Kathleen, would you, one, thanks for sharing all this information, extremely helpful, and I'm sorry that I missed that ADA panel. I hope to go to it at AADL. Would you be willing to summarize or just briefly give us an idea of what those revisions to the ADA look like in layman's terms?
Well, right now there aren't any revisions to the ADA. The ADA is very specific in terms of service animals being either a dog or a miniature horse. ESA sort of falls into a different category, and one of the persons who was there, Randy, and I don't remember the person's last name, specifically talks about how ESA animals fall under the Housing Act, Fair Housing. And so while ESA animals do not have the same rights to access everything broadly under the federal law, under the ADA law that all service animals can go to, they do have the right to be in housing. And so that was a big discussion of what types of animals can be as ESA animals. How do you navigate when an ESA animal might be a python, for instance, and how do you navigate how the roommate may feel about that? And so it was a very interesting discussion, but under the federal law, service animals are the ones that have broad access to just about anywhere. I mean, you wouldn't want them in your surgical suite when you're under surgery and things like that, but.
You can take them to the recovery room, though.
Can you? Very interesting.
I have.
And so all those questions can be answered. And Jack Bernard, who is, I believe, general counsel at the University of Michigan, Randy, I forget her last name, and then Stephanie Klein were the panel, and they were very, very helpful in terms of trying to navigate that. One of the other interesting things that came up was staff who work at the university, specifically in the hospital, sometimes have a hard time navigating, is that really a service animal? Can that animal really be in, on my unit, in my clinic, and whatever? And so it was clarified that legally you can ask two questions. You can ask, is that a service animal? And normally, because the law is so specific, dogs and miniature horses, you can kind of suss that out for yourself. If it's not a dog and it's not a horse, a miniature horse, which is not a pony, I understand, it's a specific breed, then already you kind of have your question answered. What you can ask is, what service or task does that animal provide to you? Because it has to provide some sort of task, like picking something up or opening a door or a mobility assist. It can't just be, well, this animal makes me feel better, it makes me feel calm. That would fall under ESA. However, there's the discussion that there are mental illnesses that are covered that do have animals who are service dogs, but they provide a task. So in other words, the person may say, my service dog will alert me to when my anxiety is getting to a point where I need to remove myself or whatever. But the language is that it alerts, and that's a task, versus I pet it and I feel better. So it was really super fascinating, and I urge everyone to go. And I'm not a lawyer, and so with the caveat that I'm telling you everything off the top of my brain. But again, I would urge you to go because it's a really thoughtful discussion that's going on right now. The other issue is that service animals have a level of expectation in terms of their behavior. So service animals should be calm. They shouldn't be, defecating or, doing whatever. And so the problem is with ESA animals, there isn't that regulation. So if a service animal is in public and it's misbehaving, or you can ask the handler. You can't tell the handler that they have to leave, but you can say that animal is not, if you can't get it under control, you need to take the animal away. You are welcome to come back, but if the animal cannot be controlled, it needs to be gone. So yeah, it was a lot of thoughtful discussion.
So this is super interesting and super helpful, and a big part, I think, of the educational effort that needs to happen. One last question, which is, for instance, on this commission, disability is something that is self-reported and no proof is required. Is the same true of service animals, that people sort of voluntarily, sounds like we have another...
Well, can I answer real quick first,
Oh,
Larry?
you go ahead, Nancy.
So with service animals, under the ADA, you don't just have to get a service animal, like say from Paws with a Cause or whatever. A person can self-train their animal, but they have to be trained to a certain specific set of tasks. But you are not obligated to disclose what your disability is ever. And it's never an appropriate question for the public or a business person to ask you, saying, why do you have that service animal? What's your disability? The other interesting thing to note is that service animals, there is no national registration. They're not registered. They're not, so people who say, oh, but I have a card saying he's a service animal, that's not a true thing right now under the ADA. And the other issue is that a service animal doesn't have to be vested or look, it could just be in a collar and a harness. It doesn't have to have signage on it saying I am a service animal to be able to go everywhere that it's supposed to go under the federal law. So it can kind of create an issue with the public, but that is the right of the handler to not have to vest their animal. Go ahead, Larry.
I have helped write that statute for the state of Michigan, so, but it's under the big controversy, and I'm going there because I want to see what they have to say too. The big controversy is, should we or should we not show service dog ID? And we do, for instance, in my pocket have a valid ID for my service dog from when she got out of school and all that. So, but under the current form of the statute, you're not obligated to show that ID and you can't ask for it.
Well, and to be fair, that ID to me, like when I had my service animal from Paws with a Cause, my ID said that my dog was from Paws, and so I used it when I applied for housing, so I could prove that my dog was a service animal. But I think it's more of, yes, he was trained by Paws, and it was their way to protect their brand, I believe, and take responsibility to you as a handler, but in no way just does that become I can go everywhere because I have a card. You know what I mean? There's nothing like that. Jack did introduce that conversation, though, about having some sort of registry. I'm on the fence about that because I don't know what that would look like, because if there was a national registry, just like we have driver's license that can be faked, what would that person with the disability have to disclose to register their animal? And we're already a vulnerable community. Do we want to have to keep proving why we're disabled or what our disability is? So I don't know what all that would look like, but I can also see where that would be helpful.
Yeah,
I just want to thank you both for your contributions to this. I think it's really important.
Good discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
That could go on for days if you like.
At least we've got the conversation started. Announcements, anyone? New business? No? Okay. We are adjourned at 6:01 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Nice.
Oh, wait. Do you have something? Oh.
He said, oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Okay. 6:01 p.m. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.